Everybody says the Lexus LFA has the greatest V10 ever made, and if you ask American car fans, they'll tell you it's the Dodge Viper. But I think there's a V10 that actually does everything better, and most people don't even realize it, because when you really break down the Audi R8, you start to realize Audi might have built the most complete V10 ever put in a car. Now, before we talk about Audi, we need to talk about what actually makes a V10 special. Most cars run 4, 6, or 8 cylinders. A V10 has 10, and that changes two things. First, the engine runs smoother because the combustion events happen more often. And second, the engine can rev higher, which is where that crazy supercar sound comes from. That's why V10 engines have always been reserved for exotic cars. But here's the problem. Almost every V10 only excels at one thing. They either sound amazing, or they're insanely powerful, or just incredibly rare. But almost none of them do all three. And this is where you start to see the difference. Take the Lexus LFA. This engine is famous for one reason: the sound. Lexus actually worked with Yamaha to tune the exhaust, and the result was one of the best sounding engines ever made. It revs all the way up to 9,000 RPM.
Power level! It's over 9,000! What, 9,000?
And when it does, it sounds insane. But here's the thing, Lexus only built 500 of these cars, which means that this engine is legendary. But we never really saw it proven like other cars have. And then you have the complete opposite approach, the Dodge Viper. This V10 was not built around sound. It was built around brute force, huge displacement, massive torque, and a reputation for being one of the most intimidating cars ever built. But the Viper engine actually started its life as a truck motor before Lamborghini helped redesign it. So while it's unbelievably powerful, it was never meant to be a high revving exotic engine. And that's where Audi changes the conversation. Because when Audi built the R8, they went all out and held nothing back. They didn't just build another V10 sports car. They built a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10 that revs to nearly 8,700 RPM. But the real reason the Audi R8 V10 stands out isn't just the revs, it's everything behind the engine. First, the engineering. Audi gave this V10 a dry sump lubrication system, which is the same type of oiling system used in race cars that allows the engine to sit lower in the chassis for better handling and keeps oil flowing even under extreme cornering forces. And that matters because the engine wasn't just built for the street. The same V10 architecture went on to power Audi's R8 LMS race cars, which went on to win major endurance races around the world. So this isn't just an exotic engine built for sound. It was an engine built on real motorsport engineering. Second, the platform. Because Audi shares engineering with Lamborghini, this V10 is closely related to the one used in the Lamborghini Huracan. So what Audi essentially did was take Lamborghini level performance and package it into something far more usable. And that usability is where Audi really starts to pull ahead, because the R8 became known as one of the most daily drivable supercars ever built. And that's something the other two never really had. The Lexus LFA is so rare, most owners barely drive them. And the Dodge Viper is famous for being one of the hardest performance cars to drive. But the Audi platform did something different. It took a high revving exotic V10 and turned it into something people can actually live with. And this is another area where the Audi V10 quietly pulls ahead, because the Audi R8 platform developed one of the biggest performance aftermarkets in the supercar world. You can do anything to these cars, really. You can supercharge them, you can throw twin turbos at it. There are builds making 800, 900, even over 1,000 horsepower from this engine. And at that point you start to realize something. The Audi R8 V10 didn't just become a great engine, it became a platform. I mean, just look at what people are doing with this engine. This is a built Audi R8 V10 making almost 3,000 horsepower on a dyno, 2,855 horsepower from the same V10 platform Audi put in the R8. You simply don't see builds like this with something like the Lexus LFA. And even the Dodge Viper platform never reached this level of tuning at this scale. And this is another place where the Audi V10 shows its superiority. And when you step back and look at the whole picture, you start to see a pattern. The Lexus LFA V10 focused on sound. The Dodge Viper V10 focused on brute force, but Audi focused on getting everything right. The sound, the performance, the race engineering, the usability in everyday life, and tuning potential. In other words, Audi didn't just build a great V10, they built the most complete V10 ever put in a road car. And that's why the V10 in the Audi R8 might actually be the greatest V10 ever built. Period. Point blank.